Kindly watch other videos for 2 marks, 4 and 12 marks. Sums related to 2023 and 2024 QPs. Link provided in the comments. 3-semester bcom examination, March, April 2023 and 2024. NEP solved question paper. Commerce, Corporate Accounting. Section B, 4 marks questions. Chapter, Underwriting of Shares. Year, 2023. Question number 3 in 2023 question paper. A company issued 100,000 shares valued at 100 per share. The shares were underwritten as follows: X, 30,000 shares, Y, 50,000 shares. The public applied for 70,000 shares. Determine the liability of X, Y, and the company. Underwritten ratio 3:5:2. Calculation of marked applications. By 70,000 into 3 by 10 equal to 21,000. Y 70,000 into 5 by 10 equal to 35,000. Calculation of unmarked applications. Company 70,000 into 2 by 10 equal to 14,000. Calculation of underwriter's liability. Particulars. X, Y, company. Gross liability, 30,000, 50,000, 20,000. Less unmarked applications nil 14,000. Balance 30,000, 50,000. 6,000. Less marked applications 21,000, 35,000. Nil. Net liability 9,000, 15,000. 6,000. 4 marks questions. Chapter, Underwriting of Shares. Year, 2024. Question number 3 in 2024 question paper. Ganesh Company Limited issued 50,000 shares of 10 each. The whole issue was fully underwritten by A, B, C and D as follows: A 20,000 shares, B 15,000 shares, C 5,000 shares and D 10,000 shares. The company received applications for 45,000 shares, of which marked applications were as follows: A 22,000 shares, B 11,000 shares, C 1,000 shares, and D 9,000 shares. Determine the liability of each underwriter. Calculation of unmarked applications. Unmarked applications is equal to total applications minus marked applications. 45,000 minus 22,000 plus 11,000 plus 1,000 plus 9,000. 45,000 minus 43,000. Unmarked applications equal to 2,000. Distributing unmarked applications in the ratio of underwriters. 4:3:1:2 into 2,000. A equal to 800. B equal to 600. C equal to 200. D equal to 400. Calculation of underwriter's liability. Particulars. A, B, C, D. Gross liability 20,000, 15,000, 5,000, 10,000. Less unmarked applications. 800, 600, 200, 400. Balance 19,200, 14,400, 4,800, 9,600. Less marked applications. 22,000, 11,000, 1,000, 9,000. Balance, minus 2,800, 3,400, 3,800. 600. Less surplus of a transferred to B, C and D. In 3:2:2 ratio. Plus 2,800, 1,400, 467, 933. Balance, nil, 2,000, 3,333. Minus 333. Less surplus of D transferred to B and C in 3:1 ratio. Nil, 250, 83, plus 333. Net liability, nil, 1,750, 3,250. Nil. 12 marks questions. Chapter, Underwriting of Shares. Year, 2023. Question No. 8 in 2023 question paper. Nikhil Limited invited applications from the public for 250,000 shares of 10 rupees each. Entire issue was underwritten by underwriters A, B, C and D to the extent of 30%, 25%, 25%, 20% with the provision of firm underwriting of 8,000 shares, 12,000 shares, nil shares and 30,000 shares respectively. The underwriting contract provides that underwriters be given credit for firm applications. The company received applications for 180,000 shares excluding firm underwriting, including marked applications, out of which marked applications were as under: A 48,000 shares, B 40,000 shares, C 24,000 shares, D 48,000 shares. Prepare a statement showing the net liability of underwriter. Calculation of unmarked applications. Unmarked applications is equal to total applications minus marked applications. 1,80,000 minus 48,000 plus 40. 1000 plus 24,000 plus 48,000. So, 1,80,000 minus 1,60,000 equal to 20,000. A 6,000, B 5,000, C 5,000, D 4,000. Calculation of underwriter's liability. Particulars A, B, C, D. Gross liability 75,000, 62,500, 62,500, 50,000. Less market applications, 48,000, 40,000, 24,000, 48,000. Balance 27,000, 22,500, 38,500. 2,000. Less firm underwriting 8,000, 12,000. Nil, 30,000. Balance 19,000, 10,500, 38,500. Minus 28,000. Minus surplus of D transferred to A, B and C in 6:5:5 ratio. 10,500, 8,750, 8,750. Plus 28,000. Balance 8,500, 1,750, 29,750. Nil. Less unmarked applications, 6,000, 5,000, 5,000, 4,000. Balance 2,500. Minus 3,250, 24,750. Minus 4,000. Less surplus of B and D transferred to A and C in 6:5 ratio. 3,955. Plus 3,250, 3,295. Plus 4,000. Balance, minus 1455. Nil, 21,455. Nil. Less surplus of A transferred to C. Plus 1455. Nil, minus 1455. Nil. Net liability. Nil, nil. 20,000. Nil. Add, firm underwriting, 8,000, 12,000. Nil, 30,000. Total liability, 8,000, 12,000, 20,000, 30,000. Chapter, Underwriting of Shares. Year, 2024. Question No. 7 in 2023 question paper. ABC Company Limited. Issue 100,000 equity shares of 100 rupees each. M&O&P underwrites the entire issue in the proportion of 30%, 30%, 20% and 20% respectively. They also apply for firm share applications as follows. M 3,000 shares, N 2,000 shares, O 2,000 shares and P 3,000 shares. Asides the firm application, the public apply for 60,000 shares, of which marked applications are as follows. M 10,000 shares, N 6,000 shares, O minus 8,000 shares and P 16,000 shares. Calculate the net liability and total liability of each underwriter treating I. Firm underwriting as marked applications. E. Firm underwriting as unmarked applications. Firm underwriting as marked applications. Unmarked application is equal to total application minus marked application. 60,000 minus 10,000 plus 6,000 plus 8,000 plus 16,000. 20,000. Calculation of underwriter's liability. Particulars M, N, O, P. Gross liability, in 3:3:2:2 ratio. 30,000, 30,000, 20,000, 20,000. Less unmarked applications, 20,000 into 3:3:2:2. 6,000, 6,000, 4,000, 4,000. Balance, 24,000, 24,000, 16,000, 16,000. Less firm underwriting, 3,000, 2,000, 2,000, 3,000. Balance 21,000, 22,000, 14,000, 13,000. Less marked applications, 10,000, 6,000, 8,000, 16,000. Balance 11,000, 16,000, 6,000. Minus 3,000. Less surplus of P transferred to M, N and O in 3:3:2 ratio. 1,125, 1,125, 750, plus 3,000. Net liability, 9,875, 14,875, 5,250. Nil. Add firm underwriting, 3,000, 2,000, 2,000, 3,000. Total liability, 12,875, 16,875, 7,250, 3,000. Firm underwriting as unmarked applications. For this purpose, unmarked applications equal to 20,000 plus 10,000. Firm underwriting equals 30,000. Calculation of underwriter's liability. Particulars M, N, O, P. Gross liability, 30,000, 30,000, 20,000, 20,000, less unmarked applications, 30,000 into 3:3:2:2. 9,000, 9,000, 6,000, 6,000, balance, 21,000, 21,000, 14,000, 14,000, less marked applications, 10,000, 6,000, 8,000, 16,000, balance, 11,000, 15,000, 6,000, minus 2,000, less surplus of P, transferred to M, N and O. 750, 750, 500, plus 2,000, net liability, 10,250, 14,250, 5,500, nil, add firm, underwriting, 3,000, 2,000, 2,000, 3,000, total liability, 13,250, 16,250, 7,500, 3,000, thank you, subscribe.